I'm sure there have been many times where you find yourself wishing for something you do not have. This can be anything from wealth, knowledge, better looks, or even just a physical item. Due to these desires, some very brave souls have discovered ways to achieve them rather quickly. However, although their greatest desire may now be within their grasp, the price attached may be far greater than they could imagine. I am not here to tell you how to live your life. I am not here to make your choices for you. What I am here for is to tell you the information that I know. What you choose to do with it is completely in your control. That being said, why don't you come into the cabin and make yourself comfortable? The Man in the Fields. This ritual has been passed down throughout the centuries and originates from the British Isles during the Middle Ages, where it is viewed as devil worship by Puritans and a way to protect your home. Those who knew what was really standing in their fields was not the devil. If completed successfully, the ritual will ensure you 1 year of safety, physical, fiscal, and/or mental, depending on the events during the ritual. What you'll need: a house in the countryside, preferably with a field of crops out back. Technically, all that's required is a large backyard. The larger the better. But success has only come from the houses in the countryside. A candle. Attempting to use a flashlight, cell phone, or any other electronic source of light will be unsuccessful, causing the light source to flicker and die after only a few seconds, which is why either a candle, an oil lamp, or any sort of non-electric illumination is recommended. A crucifix. I'll explain why later. A watch or clock to carry around with you. Again, cell phones will not work during the ritual. To begin the ritual, make sure it is late enough for no one around to be outside, and make sure that the sun has set. The being the ritual is based around will not appear if anyone other than the summoner is around to detect its presence. The earliest successful summon was at 9 o'clock. Light your candle. Go out into your yard and whisper 7 times, but who will scare the crows away while facing the house? On the 7th whisper, you should hear from behind you, "That's not your biggest problem." Walk back to the house without looking back. As soon as you reach the house, get inside and close the door. Now the ritual begins. Everything in your house that can open has. Take your crucifix into a room with only one door. Close the door and leave it there. That will be your safe room in case the ritual goes wrong. Make sure all doors, cupboards, cabinets, and whatever else can open is closed in there. If he gets into your safe room, you are doomed. Your goal is to close everything that is opened before the watch reaches midnight. This sounds easy in description, but think about it. Every bag, every door, every window, every container in your house has just opened. The challenge isn't closing them all, it's remembering them all. As you make your way through your darkened house, you will notice that out of the corner of your eye, you will be able to see a man dressed in simple farmer's clothes. His skin is ash gray. Don't look at him. And whatever you do, don't look directly into his eyes. But don't be afraid of him. This is not the Man in the Fields. He is merely Harold, a referee of sorts to make sure that you're closing every container. He will be following you, but will not get in your way. Make sure not to look out into your backyard. If you do, you will notice that there is a scarecrow that wasn't there. Its head is a cow's skull, and its limbs are impossibly long versions of a human being's arms and legs. While the skin on its arms and legs are pale, they are not skeletal. The only thing that is missing is a head. If you fail the ritual, or do not reach your safe room in time, you will take yours. The reason I was telling you not to look out in the backyard is that you will notice the scarecrow. He will also notice you. He will then begin to get off his post. This is the Man in the Fields. If you don't look at the backyard, don't see the post and the scarecrow, you will have until midnight to complete the ritual. If you are 100% sure that everything in your house that can be opened has closed, make your way to your bed and go to sleep. For exactly 1 year, you will have complete and total safety in everything you do, depending on when you started the ritual. If you started at 3 hours from midnight, you will only be completely physically safe. A lot of people have used this to elongate their lives past where they would normally end. People like cancer patients and the elderly. If you started 2 hours from midnight, you will not only be physically safe, but financially safe for a year. You could quit your job and still never have a need for money, whether you win the lottery or people just feel compelled to give you things for free. However, you will need to set up a plan for the end of the year, as your safety will wear off then, and you will lose all the money you have won. Make sure to either set up a business or make some smart investments. If you started the ritual 1 hour from midnight and somehow managed to finish it, highly unlikely, you will be completely and totally safe for 1 year. None of your actions will ever have any negative consequences. I'd tell you not to do something so immoral, but if you're going to go through your entire house in 1 hour and somehow manage to close all the boxes, doors, windows, cupboards, bags, cabinets, and drawers, then you can do whatever the hell you want. If you did look out at the backyard, if you saw the man in the fields, you will not get any of this, not even if you finish the ritual. If you looked in the backyard, the man in the fields will get down from his scarecrow post. He will look at you, and he will begin sprinting. You have a minute at most to get to your safe room. Run inside and lock it tight, and double check to see if everything is closed inside. You do not want him getting in. You will have to endure him scratching and clawing at the door, shrieking threats and promises of mercy if you open it. Whatever he says or does, do not open the door. There is no circumstance in which you should leave your room to confront the man in the fields. Good luck, and stay safe. Blind Man's Bluff. It is best to prepare beforehand so that everything can be on time. Timing is very important in this game. You will need a dark room with or without windows. Windows if you want safety. If you have windows, there must be curtains or sheets on them. No light can be seen. There may be furniture in the room, but not much. The floor should be clean. I don't recommend having anything hanging on the walls. They might fall down depending on how the game goes. There should be some sort of seating arrangement for at least 3 people, or no more than 5 people. This includes a circle of chairs, or a couch or love seat. I recommend the chairs if you do not wish to share a seat. The room is ready. I recommend memorizing the way to your seat. You will not want to bump into anything on your way there. I also recommend having your game room be on the same floor as your bedroom. Go to bed at 8 o'clock that night. You will want to sleep. It is imperative that you sleep for a duration of time, no matter how short. Leave your room at 11:50. Put a blindfold on your eyes before you leave. Walk to your seat. Do not be alarmed. Nobody will block you. Sit in your chair. When you feel that 10 minutes have passed, you will know because it will have felt like 20 minutes. Invite them in. If it happens that you do not want to go through with the game, then go back to your bed without taking off your blindfold. If you wait longer than 10 minutes, they will be offended and enter anyway. Do not let them enter on their own accord. If you take off your blindfold, that is a signal of fear. They like your fear. You do not want them to like your fear. If it happens that you want to play, say calmly but firmly, "Come in and be obedient." They will come in. They are your guests. They are yours to entertain, so be polite. Be mindful of your manners and do not remove your blindfold. You do not want to see them. Be very specific of what you want them to do. They will do exactly what you do and do not tell them to do. Before anything else, tell them your rules. You are their host, and they will not disobey you. Be specific. Tell them how you expect them to act. Tell them if they are or are not allowed to touch you. Tell them what they can and cannot touch in the room. Tell them where they can go. They are like children. Instruct them with precision. You may tell them to sit. They will sit. You will know when they are seated. You may ask them questions. They may lie to you. You will not know when they are lying. You may ask them to knock on the walls. They will knock. You will hear them knocking, as will everyone else in the house. The other person may wake up from the knocking. If he or she does, pray that whatever pain comes to you will be swift. You may ask them of your future. They will not know. They will not tell you. You may do anything, but you must not cross their lines. You will know when you are crossing their lines. If you wish to ask them something, and you feel even the slightest hint of something wrong, do not ask it and do not mention it. The moment you cross their lines, you are dead. Remember to never take off your blindfold. They will ask you to. They will beg you to. They will try to force you with the sweetest tongues and the harshest tones. No matter what, do not take off your blindfold. And above all, do not be harsh with them. You are their host. They are your guests. You must never be unkind to them. They will see that as a threat and take care of you as seen fit. When you're done with them, tell them to leave and do not return unless you invite them to do so. Tell them that you enjoyed their time. They love your flattery. You will know when they are gone. Do not take off your blindfold. When they are gone, walk back to your room and go to bed. Do not take off your blindfold. Sleep. You will dream of nothing bad. You may take off your blindfold when you wake, so long as it is daylight. For the rest of your life, they will follow you, but they will never be in plain sight, and they will never be there when you look at them. They will always want another chance to meet you. Do not exceed 3 meetings. After the 3rd meeting, they may invite you, and you cannot decline their invitation.